Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let me tell you what, I was talking to somebody about, they were doing I hear a lot of people talk about fasting, and I decided I would try it. So today's my first day. I've also pulled my lower back. Today is my first day trying the fasting, so I can only eat from 12 noon until 8 o'clock tonight, and it wasn't too tough. I mean, you can I drank my coffee but before 12, but anyway, we're gonna see what happens. I've heard a lot of good things from people. I tried this once before, but it was right after my AFib surgery and my body was out of whack and I was getting headaches as a result. So we're gonna try it again, because I'm not a headache person. I don't normally get headaches. Everybody else in my family does, but I don't. Okay, favorites. I've got my favorites pulled up on coinpaprika.com. Hedera hash graph is the one that is up the most right now, followed by Bitcoin and XDC. Everything else looks kind of in the red the last 24 hours. Now, I remind you all the time that you can get Ripple private equity on link2.com, which is one of my sponsors. Link in the top of the description. You can click on it and tell them DAI sent you. What I do not tell you probably often enough, and one of the most common questions that I get, see, we assume sometimes because we're up to our eyeballs in crypto on this channel and just people listening to me, sometimes we make the false assumption that everybody knows the basics of the basic things, like where can you buy XRP? Well, the only place that I buy XRP now, because you can't get it on Coinbase, you can't get it on all these exchanges, is Uphold. And Uphold's one of my sponsors as well. The link to this will be in the very top. I put an Uphold link. It's going to be in the very top of this description. For this video, it'll be above link to's link. Okay? And you can click on that. You can tell them DAI sent you, and you can go buy XRP. If you don't have an account, you can go open one. And this is one of probably my favorite exchange right here. Really, it's probably one of the only exchanges I use now. So go, and if you haven't, it's a great place to open an account. You can get XRP. You can see they have tons of cryptocurrencies. I've been buying, let's see, XRP. I didn't even know they had IOTA. Huh. Okay. Well, I'll start buying IOTA on there. But I didn't even know they had it on there. But there's several on here that I've been buying, like VeChain and Theta, and there's like tons of them. So Quant I've been buying on there. So anyway, click on that link, go check them out, and I'll be sure and talk about that more. Now, a tweet that caught my eye today. This is not the first time we've seen this. This is probably about the 5th to 10th time, okay? This guy, Nathan Price, says, so XRP is a stable coin. Capco, the capital markets company, said yes, distributed ledger technology and cross-border institutional payments white paper. So this is their little white paper, and here it says XRP, or one developed in their consortium. According to Ripple, cross-border transactions used in this system take under 7 seconds to occur. Each member bank could purchase an amount of the stable coin. They then peg the value of their currency of choice at the time of the transaction and trade it across the network to then be cashed out on the receiving end, and the currency of choice, each member bank would then have the option of using a stable coin to enable transactions across the border and conduct the transactions over multiple currencies and forms of collateral. And here it says IBM also announced the successful testing of its WorldWire in March 2019 to handle cross-border transactions using both stable coins and cryptocurrencies. And that's that was XLM back then. So when I saw that tweet, it reminded me of two things. Remember when Mr. B XRP, we went to Singapore in 2019, and we actually were in the room with David Schwartz. I was standing there when Mr. B had this conversation with David Schwartz. He says, I asked David if he believed the price increase would be slow and steady process or caused by a mass adoption event and shoot up. I'm going to try and recall the best I can after a rum tasting event, which I had a lot of that. But he didn't take the mass adoption off the table and said that the flaw with the slow and steady idea is that if it starts to move slow and steady, investors will take note and want to hold it. It won't stay that way. If you disagree with his statement, please don't shoot the messenger. Then this was said by David Schwartz himself on Twitter. If you need $1 million worth of XRP to make payments, the market price will be $1 million. Price of XRP doesn't affect anything. However, higher prices means that the same size payments will move the market less, making them cheaper. So higher is better. It can't be dirt cheap. Can't. That doesn't make any sense. If XRP costs $1, they need 1 million XRP, which would cost $1 million. If XRP cost $1 million, they need 1 XRP, which would again cost $1 million. So the price has to be high, folks, or it can't be low, okay? Okay, now I'm not gonna go into the details of this, but the XRP, the XLS20 thing, according to We'd Say When, has been put off. They found a bug. Let me see what he says here. Anyway, they found some kind of a bug, and so I'm not a tech guy. I went to Apex to see if I could learn a little bit, not too much, from some of the tech people, and see what's going on. But suffice it to say, there's a bug, and it's going to be put off for a little while. I don't know how long exactly. Now, this thread, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I have too much to show you, but I do want to show you the gist of it. This is a good thread. Why I think India's pending CBDC will be built with that Ripple on the XRP ledger. Yes, this is speculation. That is very Crypto Insight UK. That is a very dangerous thing for you to do. You even said the word speculation, but don't worry. The digital asset investor has your back. Speculation's why we're all here. The whole idea of cryptocurrency is speculation, and I speculate. I'm a digital asset investor / wild speculator, in fact. Go and get coffee and strap in. Here's everything we know. The path forward for digital asset adoption in India. That's from Ripple June 2020, a policy perspective. So let's start with something a lot of you may not know. One of Ripple's original ideas regarding the distribution of XRP was to give it away to every person in India. I've never heard this. They didn't follow through with this idea, but it shows the importance of this market to the team at Ripple. We looked early on India, and we looked at 2 billion people, a huge market, and we decided, how do you get on to Ripple? Do we give the currency away to every Indian? That's like 2 billion. Just give it away. And then they go on. Then he says, their next thoughts, again from Ashish Burla, go after the top 3 commercial banks in India, and you get 80% market share. XRP is now ODL. They then look at mobile banking and exclaimed in 2018 that in their pipeline they probably have 50% of the Indian market. So this leads to the question, what did they achieve? Well, they seem to have signed a deal with the Federal Bank of India for new cross-border payment system. And that's this. Federal Bank signed an agreement with partnership March 29th. Right there. Don't know where that came from. Next up, we have Axis Bank. It's the 3rd largest private sector bank in India. Anyway, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but this is an interesting thread, and on your own time, you need to go through it. Now, this is great. I told you yesterday I was up doing travel ball in Atlanta, and I just by pure coincidence drove by looked to my right, and I saw BitBoy's, I saw his offices that looked like they were under construction. And so I asked him, I said, what are you building there? I was just joking around. Well, today he tweets this out. Just found some really juicy info on XRP. New video coming soon. XRP Army, rise up. And so I retweeted it and I said, high-level sources. This is what BitBoy, I don't give BitBoy a hard time for his stuff, but I like to joke around about, because the first time I think he said anything like this, he said he had high-level sources and that there was a settlement imminent or whatever. This was like a year ago, I think. And so anytime he says something like this, I just retweet that. But look, I don't have anything against the guy. I think now anybody that's doing anything shady in this space, I'm not for that. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying anybody. A lot of people give him a real hard time because he always says he's got sources, or not always, but sometimes. I think that kind of makes things fun. I don't do it myself. I joke around about it, but anyway. So I was joking. High-level sources. Then Stuart Alderati tweeted this: great thread on this week's Senate AG hearing from head of policy. So remember, the Senate, the Agricultural Committee, I don't remember who's going to be there this week. Maybe it was the CFTC guys that's going to be there. But anyway, he's retweeting. Susan Friedman is the head of public policy for Ripple, okay? And her thread says this week, this first part's what caught my eye. The Senate Dems will be holding a hearing, and then the CFTC, which will give CFTC oversight of spot digital asset markets. There's a lot to like about this bipartisan effort, but to resolve current regulatory ambiguity, the bill's proposed definition of digital commodity needs to be updated in two key ways. This is what caught my attention. First, take out individual token calls out as examples of digital commodities. It does nothing to resolve the absurd and unacceptable regulatory limbo that exists for the vast majority of tokens and projects today. So she's saying take out the individual token call outs as examples of digital. In other words, I'm assuming in this bill, I haven't even looked at it, but in this thing it probably says Bitcoin and Ethereum and gives them, this is what I've been saying, gives them the same freaking free pass that Bill Hinman did in his personal opinion speech that he calls it, right? Well, this is a problem. You can't start to fix the shadiness that's going on by starting with the same premise that was created by the shadiness on June 14th of 2018. You have to make the framework for all of crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum do not deserve a free pass. From the time that speech was made, both of them were centralized, and they both remain centralized from the mining. That's the fact, Jack. And all these people are trying to act, all these Bitcoin, Ethereum maxis are still trying to act like they're somehow different than the rest of crypto, and they're not. And so I think what she's saying here is no, you don't give them a free pass right out of the gate. You give us a level playing field and you address all of crypto. You don't give Bitcoin and Ethereum some special circumstance, because it's all BS, and was from the time Bill Hinman gave that speech, and it was from the time that Lowell Ness and all of them got in a room and decided that they were going to try to get Bitcoin and Ethereum out from under securities laws, which is Lowell Ness's words, who was the attorney for Andreessen Horowitz. It's his words, not mine. It's all been a farce, and the only way to get rid of the farce and really create this industry and have a level playing field going forward is to step back. Nobody gets any free passes, and you create a framework that encompasses all of crypto, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. They do not deserve some special treatment, and that's the fact, Jack. Now, moving along. I put this out because this is the reason, folks. This is the reason you can't let this go, because this is a monopoly attempt. And I've said it for over a year now, even when nobody else would say it. I've been saying it because it's what it is. You watch my video I put together on October 20th of 2021. Here it is. This is Milton Friedman starting this out. Watch.
Ask yourself, where do monopolies come from? In the United States, the most important and the strongest monopolies are unquestionably those that derive from governmental privilege.
They consider the Ethereum network token and issuance mechanisms to be decentralized, and therefore no transactions involving those particular assets are considered to be transactions of securities. They have not said the same thing about other tokens, the Ripple token, for instance, and they were clear that they were going to come out with statements to sort of assess these different tokens, and I believe they've made all the statements about decentralization that they're going to make.
How does he believe that? How did he know that?
Monopolies there are that have been able to maintain themselves over any long period of time without government assistance, period. And the second was the New York Stock Exchange. Not more recently, because since 1934, it's had the help of the SEC.
Which islands were we going to buy, and what were we going to do with these hundreds of millions of dollars that people were going to drop on us? So I drove lots of the legal work. We got a piece of paper in our pocket before we actually launched the token sale.
But almost every other case, you have temporary monopolies develop. And if the government doesn't come in to shore them up, they fall to pieces.
The SEC has been very clear that, I guess Commissioner Clayton indicated that they wouldn't grandfather anybody, that big surprise, they're going to enforce securities law. We happened at a moment in time when securities regulators around the world were not watching, and we became sufficiently decentralized.
I don't think Ether is decentralized. I think it's fully functional, but I don't think it's decentralized. But the the division director said it's decentralized. So, hey, look at the metrics for Ether. And, hey, you did a little better than that. Hey.
Then why is it Ripple?
Yeah.
And you can go down the line and find that one hypothetical monopoly case after another derives from governmental assistance.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on here. Then, and they have them all, they're all on the same team. I pointed out here, hey, look, Squawk Box, Andrew Ross Sorkin, Becky Quick, Joe Kernan, Jim Cramer, who have never held Jay Clayton accountable. Instead, they hired him to be a contributor for ETHgate. Here are teeing up another softball ETH promo interview for Kristen Smith and the Blockchain Association, who have never helped Ripple or John Deaton versus the SEC. Here she is being teed up.
We've been writing and talking and hearing a lot about the merge. Why don't you explain what it is, but then to the extent that people think this is like, Y2K potentially, let's explain what the risks are as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good morning, Andrew. The merge is a process where the Ethereum network is going to move from proof of work, which is very energy intensive, to proof of stake. And it's called the merge because the Beacon chain, which is a proof of stake chain, has been running alongside the Ethereum network.
Okay, I'm not going to play the rest of that, but I do want to show you. And I replied to her because she retweeted it. She said, being in the studio NASDAQ markets with Squawk Box, a great way to kick off a busy week in crypto. I said, it's a great way to have Squawk Box tee up softball questions to keep the Bitcoin Ethereum narrative going. You should be calling for a level playing field and have done nothing to help Ripple or John Deaton in his representation of 70K plus XRP holders versus the SEC. And then I want to show you their website again. She's the leader of the Blockchain Association. It says, it does not say the unified voice of Bitcoin and Ethereum of the blockchain and cryptocurrency industry. It says blockchain networks and cryptocurrencies that fuel them are transitioning financial and digital services. We're the association of industry leaders advocating for the innovation and collaboration necessary to support American leadership of this industry. It doesn't say to support American leadership of Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's the crypto industry, but they don't act like it, and we will keep calling them out until they start calling for a level playing field and defending all people in blockchain. Now, this was from Eleanor Terrett. She's talking about a big week. I want to make sure everybody's aware of what's coming. Big week for crypto coming up. She's got the Digital Asset Summit. CFTC chairman's going to be at the Senate AG. Ethereum merged to proof of stake. And then we've got summary judgment briefings, 9/13, I think is the date. Redacted briefings made public, 9/19. September flare go live, 9/30. SEC fiscal year end. And we also have Gary Gensler, who's going to be in front. Well, here it was mentioned here. Gensler's going to be at the Senate Banking Committee, and then XLS 20 got put on hold. So that's where we're at with that. Let me see if I can fly through a couple of more things. This is the Digital Asset Summit that she mentioned. It's loaded down with nothing but Bitcoin and Ethereum maxis, and there's one special guest that's going to be there, and that is none other than, let me find her. There's Perianne Boring, but look right here because it gets more interesting. There's Valerie Chepinik, and if you don't remember her, she's the one that worked with Bill Hinman that helped to engineer this whole mess. Take it from Jay.
So talk through what the process is in the SEC for people who want to come to you and either get advisory opinions or get guidance or actually register offerings.
Look, we are happy to engage with people in this space in our division of corporation finance, division of investment management, and trading and markets on all of these issues. Bill Hinman, who you mentioned before, runs our division of corporation finance. We have Val Sespanik. If people have questions, they or their lawyers can come to us. But I will say,
see, you can come in and see us. Well, when you come in and see us, Valerie Chapinick is the one that you're coming in to see. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Another thing that's been forgotten is that Brad Garlinghouse was invited to Mainnet 2022, which is Masari's conference. And I've floated the idea, and also Charles Hoskinson, folks. These people have never welcomed Brad Garlinghouse and Charles Hoskinson into this club. Not publicly, not that I've seen. Unless all the world's a stage, folks, this is groundbreaking. I truly do believe that the XRP community, army, whatever you want to call it, I truly do believe that through our efforts, we have effectively forced these people to level the playing field. I truly do believe that. Through John Deaton and through making people aware of what's going on, I do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's all a stage. I don't know. But I think that we've had a major effect. And all the people behind it should be ashamed of themselves. Now, then there's the SALT conference happened today. There's two clips I wanted to show you from the SALT conference. Mike Novogratz once again has a crystal ball. And he says that a birdie told him about Fidelity starting to sell crypto to retail. He's at the SALT conference.
A bird told me that Fidelity is going to, a little bird in my ear, that Fidelity is going to shift their retail customers into crypto soon enough. I hope that bird is right.
He sure does seem to have a lot of information, doesn't he? Then I was watching the SALT conference live. This is Christine Moy. You remember, she's the one that was working with Joseph Lubin. Remember the video clips where Joseph Lubin says they were working with JP Morgan even before the public mainnet launch? Well, she was running blockchain at JP Morgan, and by pure coincidence, she leaves JP Morgan and joins Jay Clayton over at Apollo Global. Okay? She said this in the SALT conference today.
Where it was all about the crypto asset class. No one wanted to talk about blockchain technology or real world use cases. And in fact, TradFi is a liability. It's like, don't even want to talk about like being anchored to reality. Like this is like something new and definitely don't want to get in the way of like, you know, the new world order that's being built.
The new world order that's being built. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that apparently there's a new world order being built.